Welcome to Tuesday Night Rotor Talk Live, Season 2, Episode 25. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Marcus Crawford, Mr. Ron Brown. He will be with us shortly, and we got a full slate scheduled for tonight. I'm very excited to tell you that next week I am going to have, courtesy of Mr. Curtis Dart, thank you very much, Curtis, Scott Parazynski. Who is Scott Parazynski? Okay, well, let's go ahead. I'm going to do a screen share so we can kind of show you who Scott is. Scott is let's go ahead and make sure I'm getting it there. Okay. Scott is a former astronaut. He was on the shuttle. He actually did the most dangerous spacewalk ever, just to kind of give you a brief idea of who he is. And now, why am I going to be talking to Scott? Well, he's a physician, but one of the things that he did was he developed started a company called Fluidity Tech, and they have a very special joystick. So let's go ahead and watch a real short clip about that right now.
Working in a surgical robotics lab, we noticed how clunky controls were. Just thought, there's got to be a better way to move through space than this.
Now let's go ahead and let me see if I can show you. Okay, here it is. It's a single-handed drone controller for more precise flight operation. You know, and one of the things that this is going to be absolutely fantastic for is especially for handicaps people. You know, we all know Art and his struggles to be able to get outside to fly. And we also know, you know, Mike Roach, subscriber and friend of many channels. He as well, you know, he has challenges with that. Good evening, Steve Carpenter. Let me go ahead and welcome everybody here. Let's see who else. Don is in. Don Carson is in. Brian Singleton is in. Welcome, Peter DeMastri, Drone Shots. Thank you all for showing up tonight. This is going to be a fantastic show next week. We are greatly looking forward to having Scott on next week. Curtis will be with us. We'll have Ron and Marcus. We're going to have a full house next week. It's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be great. One of the things, I will be dropping the link for Fluidity Technologies in the description. They are shipping these joysticks as we speak right now. It is still only $299. Curtis is in the house. Thank you, Curtis, for showing up tonight. Curtis, if you could drop a link in the description for Fluidity Technologies to be able to get the joystick, that would be incredible. Curtis will drop a link in there. If you want to get one of these, you need to do it by the end of the month. This $299 special, it's kind of like an early bird special. When it goes to July, it's going to go up in price. So in order for you to do it, you get that $299 price, you got to go ahead and get it before the end, before July. Otherwise, it's going to go up in price. But you want to be here next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You know, I've watched Curtis. He had Scott on. Scott is just an absolutely fantastic guy. Mike Roach, welcome. Thank you for joining tonight. It's definitely going to be a show. Thank you so much, Curtis. It's going to be a show that you don't want to miss. I guarantee you that. We're going to have a great time. Scott is just absolutely fantastic. I am so excited and thrilled. Curtis told me he would love to come on the show. I said, you got it. And I said, I don't have, you know, it's just, I just said, I'll stand on water with one hand if I had to get him on here. It'll be that great. That's how excited I am about having him on. So it's going to be fantastic. Well, with all that, what we're going to do right now is go to a Zino / Fimi X8 update. We're going to go to Mr. Marcus Crawford for that. Marcus, how are you, and what's new with the Zino and Fimi X8?
Hey, excellent, Bill. Thank you for that introduction. And I wanted to show I ordered my Fluidity joystick a while ago and got the Pioneer Pilot luggage tag out of the deal. And Scott even signed a card that he sent in there too. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to getting that joystick and looking forward to trying it out. Now, with regard to the Fimi X8 SE, boy, they just keep pushing out firmware updates for that thing. And we got another one that they pushed out yesterday. So I loaded it today and took it out to fly, and that video will be upcoming on my channel. And it, for the money, you can buy that drone. There's discount codes out there all the time for $425. Occasionally, you'll see a $399 discount code, but the list price on it is $499. So, but there's always a code someplace, and it's a tremendous drone for the money. So I took it out and tested the new firmware, and honestly didn't notice much difference in either the camera quality or the flight controls. The issue that drone has had from the very start is that it has a little bit of a tilted horizon, and you particularly see it if you yaw one direction or the other. It will tilt away from the direction you yaw. So in other words, if you tilted it to the right, that end of the horizon would be a little bit higher, and eventually it flattens out. But I'm going to say that's a problem for that product. If they wanted it to be a good drone that videographers and if you're trying to get cinematic footage, I understand that you can correct that in post-production, but I don't have to do that with my Mavic. And you know what? That's, of course, a more expensive drone, but I don't have to do it with the Hubsan Zino, and that's a much cheaper drone. So that's something that they've got to get figured out. But what I'm going to tell you is, man, that thing is a hot rod. It is a fast, powerful drone. You hit the up stick, and boy, that thing will be at max altitude in no time. And when you put it in sport mode, I've had it up to about 43 miles an hour. The Mavic 2 is a little bit faster. Mavic 2 will do about 45, but it's a quick, powerful drone, and it has really smooth controls. I love the controls on it. Easy to control, and it's a pretty stable drone too. So that's the update on that. Now, with regard to the Hubsan Zino, the biggest thing that they recently upgraded on it was the precision landing, which kind of works. And I guess I should back up a little bit. The Fimi X8 has precision landing. It doesn't work ever, never. It does not work. I tried it again today. It just doesn't work. But the little Hubsan Zino, occasionally it's pretty cool. It uses the video camera to look for the landing pad, and it's pretty cool. It puts down a little target, and you can see it looking for the target. And sometimes it'll hit it, and sometimes it won't. Now, on both of those issues, I'd say precision landing, most of us you don't really need that. It's just kind of a fun gimmick. But the Zino, they have continued to upgrade the camera on that thing. And I know that the specs of that camera aren't up to what like the Fimi is, or certainly not any of the DJI drones that we fly. But it takes some really nice video now in 4K 30 frames per second. For a drone that you can buy for $250, it's pretty darn impressive. And they have also, one of the recent things they did with the last firmware update is they changed the flight controls so that you could adjust the sensitivity of acceleration and more importantly, the yaw control on it. The problem it had in the past is that left stick was so sensitive. It was really, really difficult to get a smooth yaw. You can slow that down now, and I've got mine down to, I think, about 20%. And it made a big difference and is much easier to get nice, smooth footage with it. And Gosh, I guess that's about the update on those two drones. Ron's here. Ron, you've got the Hubsan Zino as well. You got anything you can add?
Yeah, Marcus, I do. Well, first of all, I want to comment about the precision landing. Like you said, it may not be a big deal to us, but as Bill can tell you, when the Mavic 2 arrived last summer without precision landing, it was a big deal for DJI. They took a lot of heat, didn't they, Bill?
Yes, they did. A lot of people were very upset about that, Ron. You're right.
And back to Marcus's thing, Al Duran made a nice comment on ZinoNation last night about the Zino camera versus the X8 camera, that the Zino video is kind of overly saturated out of the camera. And so you don't need to really do a lot of post to make it look good on YouTube. And a lot of people in the lower end of the category buying, non-DJI drones, a lot of them don't like to do a lot of video editing. They just like to shoot and post, like our good friend Brian Singleton, True Drone Reviews. He just shoots and posts. So his he judges on how it looks out of the camera, and the Zino straight out of the camera, but that oversaturated look makes it seem like a better camera, even though, as we've learned, the camera specs are slightly lower on the Zino than they are the X8. I posted somebody's comment on Al Duran's video to a comment I made with the specs, and basically what it is, the Zino has the sensor size of kind of a mid-level cell phone, and the X8 has the sensor size of a like a premium cell phone, like an iPhone or an Android, a Samsung Galaxy or Note, and it has a faster bit rate than the the Zino 2. But again, but all this stuff, it's the software size just as important as the hardware size. If you tune your software right, you can make lesser hardware seem better. So and that's basically all I have. Marcus, he talked about precision landing. I've only been able to try it twice with the Zino, and I was 0 for 2. Well, actually, one part was my fault. I forgot to turn the camera off. The second time I tried it, I mean, it's almost there. Like Mark said, it creates this like a thing around you, like it's following somebody, and it knows it's there, and it's got the pad like completely, in case that it's like blinking lights, and it hasn't. But then, like the QC guy says, right at the very end, it gets scared and doesn't land. It's like just a few feet away from being down there, and it gives up, but it almost has it. So I mean, a couple more. I bet as much as we used to put ups and downs at the beginning, you give them, I'm going to say at the most 2 more firmware updates, and it'll work like. Well, I'll say most of the time. I don't even want to give a number. 3 out of 4 times or whatever. What do you think, Marcus?
Hey, to be fair, they do call it a beta too, so we need to add that. What I will say for Hubsan is they said, hey, this feature is in beta, use it, figure it out. But yeah, I'm sure they will. And I'm telling you, in my mind, that Hubsan Zino it's a solid product now that I can recommend without a lot of
for the money.
Yeah, for the money. We're talking for the money.
And Bill pointed out on the previous episode that precision landing, it may not be important to hand catchers like you, Marcus, but it is important to some of our people in the drone community that aren't fully enabled, like Mike Roach and Art. Both of them would greatly rely on precision landing. So it is good that not only DJI has this, but it kind of goes down the food chain to the lesser drones, because again, not everybody can afford a Mavic 2 Pro, whatever. And it's nice that they have that. That would be a reliable feature in an affordable drone. Do you agree, Bill?
Oh, definitely. One of the other things I wanted to ask you both about too, because I know you both own it. And I know today you just posted a video on it, Ron, the Anafi. Anything going on new with the Anafi? I didn't get a chance to see your video, Ron, but I'm anxious to. Why don't you give us an update on the Anafi? Well,
the video I posted today was basically just a video review I shot over the weekend. It was a nice weekend down here at the shore. And I was able to go over, which it's just a short walk from my house. I go down to the bay, and they have a toll bridge that goes over the salt marshes to the mainland. And I shot it kind of near sunset, and I shot part of it in just regular 4K 30. And then I even did a little clips of time lapse in there, which it was the first time I tried time lapse. It worked well, but I had it too fast, which I'll fix the next time. And then at the end, when the light got really low, I put it in the HDR mode, which Marcus and I talked about before, and the HDR did a really good job at not only low light, but it had low light plus it had the brightness from the sun. So it had the conditions you need for HDR. You had some bright light, you had some low light, and you had some light in between. So the HDR could probably catch all three of the levels of light. And why I recommend not using the HDR feature all the time is, and Marcus has run into this, it fills your memory card up. I don't know how much bigger of a file that the HDR makes, but it obviously makes at least twice the size file. So if you turn HDR off when you don't need it, you save on file size, because the little Anafi only comes with a 16 gigabyte memory card in there, and it also is in an old school cell phone type thing from 1999 or whatever, and it's very fragile to mess around with. But the beauty of the Zino is, I can't get Zino out of my mouth. The Anafi is, you don't have to take the memory card out every time and put it in your computer. You could just use the USB-C port in the back here, hook it up to your computer, and download the files directly. So you not need to take that memory card out every single time. Now, even on USB 3, it's not as fast as doing the memory card. So I guess if you're some kind of professional or production studio, you need speed, you take the memory card out. But I can easily just put it down, hook up the computer, walk away, answer emails, do something else, and next time I look at it, it's downloaded or whatever. So and also I've discovered too is, if you want to get this over to another device besides your cell phone, and Mark, we've been talking about LumaFusion, a high-end video editor for Apple mobile devices like your iPad. You could just put the parent Free Flight 6 app on your iPad and just get it over through the app too. So it's easy to get it on your mobile devices, just installing the app on any of them. But as far as any I think when I did fly it over the weekend, I think it did say it had an update, but I was in the middle of flight and I didn't want to do it mobile, so I haven't looked at it again. But I think there's an update waiting to be done on this. I don't know any of the details. It's not an app update; it's just a device update. So I will, after the show, I will definitely, or maybe during the show, if we have a down period, I'll fire it up and we'll look at the updates or whatever. So, but I think there is an update pending. I don't know any of the details, but just the video, you'll see the video, and I want your feedback on what you see in the video I posted on the quality. But the more I fly this, the more I like it. And one of the reasons I hold off on getting one of the Fimis is I'm not spending enough time with the drones I did have. I've just started flying recently. My Mavic Pro 2's only flown like maybe 5 times or whatever. I want to start flying the drones that I have before I acquire more drones, and then none of them ever get really flown and tested properly. I plan on doing a kind of a full-fledged review in pieces, and I'm going to try to start this in the next couple of days. So I'm going to throw it back to Marcus if he has anything to add on to the Anafi story here.
Yeah, a couple of comments, Ron. So I noticed on your video that it does have a nice flat horizon, and I've learned to appreciate that after flying the Fimi X8. And then secondly, the music that you put to that video was darn good. I need to find out where you're getting your music files at. That was really good.
Spoiler alert here. Mike Birdman Cruz, I don't have the thing up, but he's in there. He sent me a bunch of free music or whatever a couple months back, and I'm kind of going through, I forget how many songs he sent me, but he sent me a whole bunch of royalty-free stuff or whatever. So I'm kind of using that, and it does kind of have a good, like, kind of laid-back, gentle feel for these kind of summer, sunset videos or whatever. And I even I'm not, I love people that match everything up to the beat, but I think that's kind of getting a little overdone now. So I don't worry about making markers and hitting everything to the beat, but just by accident, I think I hit the beat on a couple of the changes or whatever. So, it makes me look like I worked harder in the video than I did.
Well,
Ron, go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
Oh, I just was going to say, so tomorrow I'm going to go on about a 120-mile motorcycle ride with one of my neighbors. So I'm taking the Anafi with me tomorrow, and we're going to be up by a couple of different rivers. So we're going to get some good river footage with the Anafi tomorrow.
Well, you won't even feel it in your backpack on the bike.
Yeah, no, I got plenty of storage on that bike.
Yeah, but you won't, it won't weigh the bike down at all. You know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for that, because I count on you, because I wish I had the Anafi, and I really want to get that Fimi X8 too. So I'm kind of like, I'm torn between those two about the next drone that I'm going to get. So it's going to be like toss a coin, and I won't lose. Okay.
Can we add to that, Bill? Can Ron and I vote?
Yeah.
We're going to both say the Anafi, I'll bet.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the X8, but yeah, so you're the only vote that counts, because you're the only one that has both. But Bill, before you hit the buy button too quick, and this is just, I got this from a friend of ours on ZinoNation. His name's Jet Martin. I don't know if he's part of this show, but Jet talked to a rep with Anafi. And again, this could be the same type of rep that your buddy talked to. I won't even mention his name, but but he said there's a possibility of a Anafi V2 coming out in July.
Okay. All right. That's,
I mean, all rumor, I'm just hearing this second person, type of thing. So this is, don't not buy them, because I'm saying this could be, I don't know, complete rumor mill stuff. But, just think if they had a version 2 of this, I mean, this already has, almost everything you need. Like, what could they add in version 2, Marcus?
Yeah, well, maybe a 3-axis gimbal. Although the thing is, I've never noticed a problem with it. As long as you yaw at a reasonable rate, that's the only time you're ever going to notice that it's
right. Oh,
3-axis.
And I did mention this the other night. Did I mention this on air or off air? I did see an issue over the weekend when I flew it, and I replicated the second day too. I brought it straight down, trying to get like whatever you call the shot when you come straight down. And I was flying in a bit of wind. I mean, not gale force winds as the Fimi X8 flies in, but I was bringing down, and I did see its shutter coming straight down a little bit. The only time I've ever seen the gimbal have a problem is coming straight down. I mean, it didn't have a straight problem at all, yawing, and I have it on filming mode, so it yaws real slow, but it did all that fine. But that straight down shot, it got a little flutter coming down, So, I mean, I don't want to, I'm not trying to put it down, but, we want to be honest here. We talk up its strengths and talk up what we see. And I did see it happen 2 nights in a row, and it happened worse on the first night than it did the second night. But the second night, I did see it slightly do this, on the way down, and you can see it in the video. So a 3-axis gimbal on a Anafi V2 would be a big improvement. And what if they Bill? What if they put a 1-inch sensor on this guy?
Wow, that'd be a kicker. That's a real kicker. We get that.
The DJI engineers would have to get busy then, huh?
Yeah, you'd be seeing more delays. One of the other things, thank you guys so much for the Fimi update, for the Zino update, and for the Anafi update from all of you guys. I count on you. That's you guys do a great show on Monday night. By the way, there's a link in the description. Check out ZinoNation on Monday night. They had a fantastic guest on last night. I'm sorry, what was the gentleman's name again?
Al Duran.
Al Duran. Al was fantastic. I watched a few minutes before I went to bed last night. Al was incredibly knowledgeable. If you get a chance, go back and watch that. Make sure you smash the like button. Ron and Marcus put on a great show. You definitely need to check that out. One of the other things we want to talk about, and somebody asked the question, which was, it's a perfect segue into this, and I know Ron had mentioned this earlier today, was that LumeCube just put out a strobe. And let's go ahead and watch a clip. It's a very short clip. It's from LumeCube on the strobe, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about that. So let me go ahead and get
the video, Bill.
Get this rolling here, guys.
Hey, Riley from LumeCube here to introduce you to the latest addition in our drone lighting line, the Strobe, an anti-collision light for drones. As drones become more regulated, anti-collision lighting is now more important than ever for both line of sight and safety reasons. The The strobe meets all federal drone regulations, including 360-degree visibility, can be seen from over 3 statute miles away, and it has 3 different settings, including high strobe, low strobe, and a continuous light output. Rechargeable via micro USB, the strobe can last over 2 hours on the highest strobe setting. Our anti-collision light includes 2 color caps in every box, so you have the ability to strobe in white, red, or green color, and we use 3M dual lock technology to mount to every single drone in the market. Available in both a single and a 3-pack at lumecube.com.
Okay. Thank you, Ron, for mentioning that earlier today, and I'm glad I found that. Now, I also found out Aldrin from Flight Path, he actually did a review on them, and it talked about that. Now, one of the things that somebody had mentioned in the review, this is $49.95 for this, and there are, and forgive me for the name of it, it begins with an S. That you can get these. They're kind of like look like little circuit boards, but they have the strobe lights built in them. They're around $20. You can buy them on Amazon. And if somebody knows that, if you could post it in the chat, that would be great. But I wanted to get both Ron's thoughts and Marcus's thoughts on this, and then I'll go with mine. Ron, what's your take on the strobe light? And do you think it's something that is viable, the product from LumeCube?
Well, first of all, I want to shout out Ken Herron. He posted a video this morning on the LumeCube light. I think he sent one for review. He tested it out. It seemed to work well. What's Ken Herron's channel? Is it just Ken Herron?
It's just Ken Herron. It's just Ken Herron. Yeah. So
check out his. It's a short video. It's only like 5 minutes. Other people have videos, but Ken, he gets all the information out in 5 minutes, and he gets a few laughs. But anyhow, I looked at the comments on Ken's video, and most of the comments were just kind of what Bill just touched on. People thought it was too expensive. They thought, what ship, tax, and whatever it was like over $50. So Bill mentioned maybe some lower cost options out there. So I think it's a great light, and it may be the best light in the market because LumeCube's been around for years. They first started making out little lights that you could get for your camera and cell phones, and you could buy more than one LumeCube, and they would fire like in a series. So like you could hit the flash button, and you'd have like 3, 4, however many lights LumeCubes you had, like flash. So they were good for almost semi-professional photographer, we're going to call it. And then about 2 years ago, Bill, I think LumeCube came out with a set I think it maybe even came out with a mount for the Phantom 4, where you could put 2 LumeCubes on a Phantom 4 and light the scene up as you went along. They weren't lights like this, the warning lights for airplanes. They were lights that you could see the fly in, we'll say, darkness or dusk. So LumeCube has already made products for, again, mobile photography, drones, and now even safety. And again, this is fits in with part of the new FAA rules, about having lights on the drone at night. And also, it warns other people in the area that there's a drone because of this flashing light. So I think it's a great idea. I mean, I'm sure this is a quality light. You get what you pay for. But again, the initial reaction of a lot of people in Ken Herron's video was it was a little bit too costly. Marcus, your thoughts?
Yeah. So, Ron, again, I'm always impressed by your product knowledge on items like this. You really do a good job of, and there's almost nothing out there that you're not very familiar with. What I would say is, with regard to Part 107, of course, you're going to want one of these, and you pay for what you get. I have bought. I'll just give you an analogy. I like. I'm kind of a flashlight nerd, and I like the little LED flashlights. You can buy the ones for $5, or you can buy the ones for $40. And trust me, you know the difference. The $5 one isn't going to last. It's not as bright. The switches break after a while. The $40 one you're still using, and it's way brighter, and that's what you're getting with LumaCube. Might cost you $50, but like they said, hey, it's good for 2 hours on a charge. That's pretty darn good. And if you're a Part 107 pilot, I just can't imagine you wouldn't have that in your bag.
Well, thank you, both of you guys. I wanted to mention that what I had found, I posted that in the chat. I'm trying to look for it. Oh, I lost it again. Let me see here. Strobe on Cree. That was the other strobe that I had found, and they're out on Amazon. And I think Marcus brought up a good point is, some of those other ones, they do work. And I know I was just looking through Aldrin's comments on his review, and some people mentioned other ones that work as well too. And Manny had asked the question, and I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. Hi guys, do you think DJI and other manufacturers will incorporate a strobe since LumaCube came out with theirs? Absolutely. I think that's something. Well, DJI already has this as an option for the Mavic 2 Enterprise series. Okay, it's big. You have that USB port on the top, and you mount it on there, because I had the Mavic 2 thermal for a while, and it's very easy. You put it in there, it activates the app. All you do is hit it on, and boom, and it's a very bright light. I put it on inside the house, and it was just like crazy incredible. And I had it outside for a little bit as well. Yeah, I do think DJI is going to incorporate this, and I think that's something we'll see as far as early as probably next year, that we're going to see that, because DJI putting the AirSense technology on their drones in 2020, I think we're going to see this anti-collision light as well too on there. They're going to take another step, and that's again, that's taking it up a notch. That's thinking kind of outside the box and saying, you know what, we're going to go ahead and do something. It's not required, but we're going to go ahead and do that, because all these people are going to be buying this as an option. What if we offer it as something standard on our drones, looking versus other drone manufacturers not offering it standard, and you're having to get the strobe from LumaCube and spend the extra $50. DJI will have it there. So, I mean, that's a lot of food for thought. That's some great discussion on this. It looks like a great product, and I'm kind of torn between what Ron has said about it and what Marcus has said about it. I'm kind of like, for $50, try it. And if it doesn't work, to your satisfaction, send it back within in your time frame and try something else. But you won't know until you actually try. And I think that's the thing here. I think it would be good to get out, to get it, try it, see if it works. Maybe the green works better than the white. Maybe the red works better than the green, or some other kind of combination. Maybe it works better, on the slow setting than the fast setting. Whatever you need, try it out. Make sure. Eldrin did a great video on Flight Path, and I suggest you guys watch that to take a look at it. He was 1,500 feet out at night, and you could still see it. I mean, it was visible to the naked eye, which is what's needed here. We're going to switch gears here a little bit, and this is something.
Bill,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Before we move off this topic, and this is just a coincidence. I don't have the light here, but this is a product called the Moen Sport LED, and this is the clone of a LumaCube, the original LumaCube. Actually, it's just like the one they made for the Phantom 4 Pro. It's a little self-contained light, has the LED light in the front, and it has a 1/4-inch screw mount on the top here, and just in the back it has like this kind of magnetic charging system back here. So that's pretty cool. And you just let's see it. Just hold this for just a little bit, and it kind of see that blue light. It charges it up, and then you hold it for like 3 seconds. It comes on with this very powerful light.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
that
is powerful. I mean, that is really powerful.
So this, like, I could put a 1/4-inch screw mount. This is the top thing, but I'm sure this LumaCube is much more powerful than this thing. So, this gives you an idea somewhat of what this LumaCube thing. This is going to be a knockoff, and this is probably half the price of a LumaCube. And I will be doing, shameless plug here, I will be doing a full review and test of this light, and it'll be coming up on my channel soon. These are sent out to me free for review, but you know, I'm going to test it, and I will only you know, give it a high marks if it passes the test. I've never had a light like this before. I've never owned a LumaCube, so I won't be able to compare it directly. But before you moved on, I just wanted to throw
no, that's good. I'm glad you mentioned that.
And real quickly too, if LumaCube is watching this and they would like to send 3 of these out, I'm sure Bill, Marcus, and I were all tested on the back of our Mavic 2s. And if they would send one out for us to review, I will also order the competitive product from you know, that Bill's linking on Amazon and compare them side by side to show which one is the better product. And to Marcus's thought, if paying the extra money for the superior product is the way to go, that test will show that. So if you're listening to LumaCube, you got 3 beta testers ready. Throwing it back to Bill, he's going to move on to our next exciting topic of the evening.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ron, for throwing that in there. I want to welcome some people that have just showed up. Cardasso Media is in the house.
Oh.
Thank you for showing up tonight. Mitch is here. Old guy in a drone. Welcome, Mitch. Glad you're here tonight. Manny Navarro is with us. Edwin Negron, forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. Edwin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's see who else is here that I haven't called. Chris Hope is here. Welcome tonight. Kyle Knox is in the house. Lauren is in the house. Jet Martin is in the house. I want to make sure we get everybody covered here. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, we're going to spend a little bit of time on this, and then we'll kind of hit our main topic coming up here. And again, Rob Matters, vlog style, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate that. One of the things that DJI had just come out with is it's called DJI Government Edition. And we're going to watch a short clip from DJI on this, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about this. So let's go ahead and watch that clip.
Drone technology has evolved rapidly over the past decade. What was once a niche consumer hobby has become a trusted technology and an essential advantage for commercial and government entities around the world. DJI has developed a new hardware and software solution that allows government agencies to confidently use drone technology while keeping in accordance with stringent IT and data security requirements. We call it DJI Government Edition.
It actually allows us to tell our clients that all of their telemetry data, meaning where the drone is flying, is stored securely and not shared with anyone but them.
To government clients, data security is everything. They care greatly about the data that's captured on the drone itself, where it is downloaded, where it's to be managed and stored.
In developing a new solution for government use, the drone itself does not require activation with DJI and is shipped with custom firmware. This firmware prevents inadvertent or malicious data breaches by ensuring drones and their remote controllers will not pair with off-the-shelf components. A custom DJI Pilot Flight Control app has also been modified to permanently enable local data mode. This feature ensures data security by preventing any connection from the app to DJI servers.
Having Government Edition will allow us more control over that process. So avoiding automatic firmware updates that can potentially impact our operational schedule is important. It's also important to government customers.
Allowing the government to test their own firmware and navigate that directly is important because I think it fits into their overall protocol and compliance.
Have their IT security department screen the software before it goes onto the fleets. Once people start utilizing the technology, they want to infuse it as a whole into their organization.
The ability to collect high quality imagery everywhere, anywhere, I think is going to be very attractive for our customers and for government.
With this new Government Edition, we are addressing many of the challenges that off-the-shelf drone technology has presented, and it will allow governments and enterprises of all sizes and complexities to harness the true power of drone technology. and data security requirements. And it will allow governments and enterprises of all sizes and complexities to harness the true power of drone technology.
Okay. Thank you for bearing patiently through that, guys. You know, one of the things I'm going to throw some things out there, and then we'll hit Ron and Marcus and go around for our thoughts. But one of the things that I wanted to throw out there regarding this was, this is obviously in response. If you remember, several months back, it may have even been about a year or so ago, the DJI started, or the federal government said, the Army, I believe, said, we're not going to be using DJI drones anymore. There's a breach as far as the data security is concerned. So evidently DJI had been working on a solution to take care of that. This is the solution that they came up with regarding this in terms of making sure that government data is stored securely and safely. I want to get Ron's thoughts on this. I want to get Marcus's thoughts, and then I'm going to go ahead and share my thoughts. Ron, what are your thoughts on all this?
It was, I guess, a little bit surprising, but I thought it was a good move by DJI. That the announcement today that they're going to open a factory in California near where some of their offices are, and they're going to, I think I read, make 60% of the enterprise DJI Mavic enterprises there, and any job creation in the U.S. in my mind is a good thing. If anything that leads to the creation of jobs here is a great thing, for the company to be able to sell stuff for government use again, it will be a good thing. And I'm not sure of all the specs. Like, I don't know why they're more secure making them here in China if it's still going to be the same parts. If they're going to sneak some kind of secret spy camera in there, unless somebody from the government staying there watching the assembly line the whole time, they could do it just easily here. So I'm thinking maybe that's a little bit of a dog and pony show, maybe to avoid tariffs also. But again, making any new jobs coming to the U.S. is a good thing. As far as I'm concerned, and I hope this DJI makes the best drone. I mean, we know that they have recently, the U.S. government has got a hold of Para to make drones for them. And as much as I like the Anafi sitting over there, I mean, Para's track record of making fine drones isn't in the same league with DJI. So I mean, for all our government people and our first responders and policemen and emergency people using the best drones, the DJIs, is what I would, if somebody's coming to rescue me, I hope they're coming to rescue me with a DJI drone. If I'm stranded or injured or something someplace. So, and again, I won't go on a rant because I talked about this a little bit the other night. Like, I don't know why the spying stuff, since as far as we know, DJI or no other drone maker has been caught spying and sending the data back to a Chinese spy agency. But I mean, it could happen. This could happen. But why do they just pick on drones? I got a cell phone here. I got a GoPro here. They're all made in China. They all have cameras on them. They all can connect to the internet if you pair them with something, just like your drones. So how comes these devices aren't on the list for spying or whatever? Why only pick on drones? I know maybe drones can see more because they're high in the air flying, but these devices, I can get up closer. I can't take a drone in an airport legally, but I can walk right to the airport and film all I want. With these guys, nobody's going to stop me. So they can get closer to sensitive areas than drones can in a lot of cases. So, okay, add to my mini rant, that they're picking on drones for spying and not other Chinese built devices that have just as good as cameras and can also connect to the internet. But so that's kind of my final wrap up on the government and specifically building the drones with the government. I think it's an interesting story, and again, I'm all for creating more manufactured jobs in the U.S. Marcus, your thoughts on?
Real quick before Marcus goes, I got to interject because this was absolutely Funny. Whizbang99 says China is using the Get Smart Shoe iPhone model.
Yeah.
I thought I had it. Go ahead, Marcus. I'm sorry. That was funny. I couldn't leave that out.
Well, what are you telling me, Bill? Are we going to have to lower the cone of silence? Remember that?
Yeah. Just don't hit the chief on the head with it.
That's right.
I always love the cone of silence. So what I think DJI is really smart in doing that, because what they're saying is they're going to allow corporations and government entities to isolate that drone from any kind of talking back and forth to DJI. In other words, an IT person is going to decide when to do that update, and they're going to be able to look at that code to make sure there's nothing malicious in there. Now, the issue is with Chinese technology, because they're a totalitarian state. Their government can order any company in that country to do anything they want. And the difference is, I've used in the past the example of Apple Computer, when recently there was a shooting, and this is recently, it was probably a year or two ago. There was a shooting in California. The government, the FBI, wanted to look at that guy's Apple iPhone, and Apple said, no, we don't. We're not gonna. It's a secure product. There is no backdoor, and we're not going to make one for anybody. Now, if Apple was headquartered in China, the Chinese government would just go to them and say, yes, you will. And if they didn't, those leaders would be in jail someplace. So that is the concern that our military and even private industry has with Chinese technology, hence Huawei and so forth. The bigger picture is that kind of bums me out is, in the United States, we've always been technological leaders in almost everything. And we're looking at China. Boy, they're becoming a leader in 5G cell phone technology, and just like we're talking about drones now, DJI. I'm with Ron. If somebody's going to come rescue me, I want it to be a DJI drone up there, because I know that thing is quality and is going to find me. How is it that it's a Chinese company that's building the world's most preeminent drones that we all use and love? I'm not saying that, but it is, I think, smart of them to say to any agency, whether it be a corporation or a government agency, look, you can isolate your product and nobody else will ever see that data.
Well, you guys bring up some unbelievably excellent points. And I think one of the things here, and I'm just going to interject, because I don't like doing anything, and it's not really political. But Valerie and I watched the movie Snowden. It was about Eric Snowden, the whistleblower from the CIA. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it really makes you stop and think. Like, I'm sitting here. Is the CIA collecting data on us talking about this tonight? It just goes. You know what I told Valerie after watching the movie? Okay, if you really sit down and you think about it, all right, they know every aspect about everything about our mundane, boring lives every day, about how many times we go out and fly drones. Okay, but you know what? It's so mind-boggling, probably what they do know. It's better to just shut it off. And that's what I told her. I said, seriously, after watching that movie, I said, you know what? I'm just going to shut it off, because if I sit there and really think about everything that's going on, I'll be in a rubber room somewhere in a hurry. And I don't want to do that. Okay. That's not something that I want to go to. But, as far as them collecting data and whatnot, let's look at it two ways. Okay, let's look at it collecting data from hobbyists and, let's say, some commercial drone pilots, all right, who are just, not working on government things. All right, what are they going to see? All right, they're going to see, my roof probably has 2 or 3 shingles that are missing. They're going to see there's some soil erosion around the edges of the lake where we're at. They're going to note that our grass is a little tall this week. You know, and somebody just brought this up. Oh, the Robomaster. Okay, there's a camera on that, and there's communication protocols on that. Good, they can see all the dust bunnies on the floor and where I spilled things and where things have fallen underneath the couch and all this. Okay, you know, you get to an extreme with this, and I think that's something we kind of need to avoid, because if you're going to this extreme, you know, it's just you blow it out of proportion, and it just goes there. And I think bottom line is this. Okay, I think DJI wants to win the government back, and in order to do that, they have to prove, which I think is going to be a tall order, they've got to prove that their data is secure. So, you know, if they can prove it to the government, more power to them, and to do that, because I think Anafi made some inroads. I think, you know, I don't know if Marcus or Ron brought it up, you know, with them being able to they're going to sell drones. Parrot is going to start to sell drones to the military. You know, that probably, you know, sent some alarm bells off with DJI and said, you know what, we need to work on something to gain back the government's confidence. And I think something like that's going to take some time. But if they do, it's going to be a win-win. I think, you know, Parrot's going to be able to produce some great drones for them, and hopefully, you know, get them, as far as technology, geared up on the right way. And also DJI, it's going to be a win-win for everybody around, because, you know, they'll be able to produce those quality drones. And bottom line is this, you know, if I'm lost, I want a DJI drone that's out there looking for me or my loved ones. Okay, that's the bottom line. All right, last topic of the evening here. Okay, and this is a good one. All right, and I had talked about this last Saturday on Canadian Drone Hub. And if you guys ever have a chance to, I'm usually on Canadian Drone Hub Saturday morning, somewhere around 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You know, and I want to thank Roger and Paul and Val. John's usually on. Sometimes John Coopy's on. Mike from Philly Drone Life is on. Great group. Just fantastic people there. I just love my time on there. So you guys need to check it out. But what I talked about was this. All right. Now, we all know the Spark 2 event that was supposed to be July 23rd was postponed. All right. And I saw an article that listed, you know, it was a laundry list of reasons why this could happen, you know, and I'm going to bring some of these up right now, and then I'm like to go to Ron and then to Marcus and get their thoughts, and then I'll kind of close. You know, first of all, somebody said it was because of the tariffs. All right. And I'll give you up, you know, I'll give you my opinion after Ron and Marcus give theirs. Okay. First, they said it was because of the tariffs or why they postponed it. Second, somebody brought up was because of the laws changing over in Europe. Okay. Which you know, and again, I'll get to that as well. The other thing was somebody said because of the AirSense technology, and the DJI did not want to release this without AirSense, and that's not coming till 2020. And there was something else, and I'm trying to remember what that was. There was another real big reason why people said something about this that I forget. But those were the big ones that I thought. And Marcus and Ron, if you remember of any of the other ones, you know, please do go for it. So, Ron, what are your thoughts about all this?
I mean, you know, all these could be very valid reasons. Any one of them could be the one. But I would go for the simplest reason, that it's probably, you know, if it is a real product, it's probably already out there in beta testers' hands, and the beta testers have discovered some issue with it, some feature not working correctly. It could be a camera issue. They could be falling out of the sky. The batteries could be popping out. You know, again, the bigger conspiracies you hit on could all be very true, but it's probably more of a simple thing. Like, again, it keeps the same failure keeps happening to different beta testers, and DJI's a smart company. Unlike, they're not going to put out a product like the what was the GoPro's product?
Yeah.
Or they're going to put out a carbon with falling out of the air. If the beta testers are having issues with anything beyond a software fix, they're not going to put that product out. And that would be my first guess. Again, but it could be any of the things Bill just mentioned. My guess is not as exciting as the topics Bill mentioned, but it's a good chance it could be something like that. Marcus, What's your gut instinct tell you?
Well, the first thing I thought of. So let me start by saying I think we can be 99% certain that a Spark 2, whether it's called the Spark 2 or not, I don't know, is coming for two reasons. You cannot buy a new Spark now from DJI, either refurbished or new. They're out of them.
Marcus, can I stop you? I just looked today. The Spark was available for selling refurb today. Not the Flybore package, but just the Spark itself. It was in the it may not be there right now, but it was 5 hours ago.
Yeah, so I've noticed they come and go on that. Occasionally they'll have them, and other times not.
Oh, and real quick, I hate to keep cutting you off, but another update: the Mavic Air, was it was available as a refurb, but not the Flybore package, just the drone. So they're becoming scarce even on DJI. Say that's the last time I cut you off, Marcus. Go in your role.
Hey, no worries, Ron. I mean, I always appreciate you. Always bring solid information. So, but that was exactly what I was going to say. So then the Mavic Air, what we recently saw it on sale everywhere. So all the retailers are starting to blow them out. So I think we can be pretty certain that there is something in the works, whether they call it a Spark 2 or whether they call it a Mavic Air Deluxe or whatever it is that they call it. But Ron and I, we've had this discussion before. They're looking at that price point. There's all these other drone companies now that are hitting right around that $500 price point. The Fimi X8, the Anafi when you catch it as a refurb, and then even the Zino, I guess, somewhat, although it's not quite in that same class, although it could siphon off some buyers. So I think they're very price sensitive. And we know that the little help me out here, Bill. What they call it? The
Robomaster.
Robomaster. I'm sorry, guys. We know that they had to kick up the price on that, and the same thing with the Osmo Action was supposed to retail at $300, wasn't it, Bill? And they
right, $300.
Yeah. So they've had to kick up some prices on those things, and so I'm wondering if it didn't push them into a situation that they couldn't get the price exactly where they wanted it. And they're hoping for a resolution of some of those trade disputes and be able to get it out at the right price. So, yeah, that's my best theory. Although I really like what Ron just said about beta testers maybe finding something. That's probably very accurate.
Well, you know, I kind of, you know, and that's where those were my thoughts as well. Ron nailed it absolutely on the head. He hit a home run with that because, you know, people don't realize. Now, last year, let's go back just, you know, I'll do a Reader's Digest version of this. Last year, at the beginning of July, we all find out that the Mavic 2 was delayed and is going to be delayed till August. And it was right, the Parrot comes in and they announce the Anafi with the zoom feature. So, and we all know what happened there. You know, the DJI scrambled. They went ahead. They got a zoom camera ready, and they said, you know, you can buy two versions, one with the 1-inch sensor and one with the zoom, and the rest is history as far as that's concerned. And in this instance, I think Ron is absolutely hit the nail on the head. The beta testers found something with this, you know, whether, you know, it was crashing or there was something wrong with the app or the camera wasn't working right, you know, who knows, just a myriad of reasons. But they said, you know what, we can't put this out right now. It's not ready. We don't know when. You know, look at the embarrassment, you know, and I hate to bring up, you know, smartphones, you know, Samsung Galaxy Fold, the smartphone that had the crease in the middle of it, okay? And we all saw what a disaster that was because they didn't get it in enough beta testers' hands to get that thing tested thoroughly, and they had to recall it and not even really get it out. And there's no word on when that phone's going to be back out there. So, you know, DJI wants to avoid, you know, any kind of an embarrassment with this. They really, I think they have learned that. One of the things that I can say about DJI is they've learned their lessons since, you know, the original Mavic Pro Classic when they came out with that. in October. People had ordered them. They were waiting and didn't get them till December or January, versus me, when I bought mine in January. I got it the next day. It was in stock. There was no issues with that. So they did learn their lesson there. And I think as far as the bigger picture is concerned, I called one of the episodes recently Droneless Summer, or maybe a Droneless 2019. Some people are predicting that. And I actually talked with Sally French when I had her on. I said, do you think that the market is saturated? And I'll tell you what, Sally she is just so fantastic. And if you guys get a chance to go back and watch that episode, Sally is just an incredible fountain of knowledge and information. And she's such a great ambassador, whether it be male or female, for the hobby and for our for profession as far as drones are concerned. When I posed that question to her, she said, you know what, Bill, I was so amazed when DJI came out with, I thought when DJI come out with a Mavic Pro, how can they improve upon that? How can they make that any better? And she said, Bill, they came out with a Mavic 2 Pro, the 1-inch sensor, the 360 obstacle avoidance, the APAS on there, on and on and on as far as that's concerned, the 1-inch sensor, the video camera on there, the features that are on there, the increased runtime. She says, it's like, the old saying, squeezing blood out of a turnip. And she was very right. That was one of the best answers that I think that I've heard. So no, we haven't reached a point where it's saturated, because, a lot of people talk about, and I'll give the example of smartphones, and I know both Ron and Marcus have Apple products and iPhones. I had iPhones. I switched over to a Samsung several years ago. Would I go back to an iPhone? Well, I'll tell you what. Here's for me, iPhone would have to knock my socks off, okay? Because I haven't really seen anything for me to go back to the iPhone. And it also goes back to having to get tied into Apple's ecosystem, and I'm not tied into Apple's ecosystem. I love the flexibility with Android. I love the capabilities. I was a programmer at heart. I'm a developer. I say I'm a reformed developer. Now I'm a software quality assurance tester, but be that as it may, as far as all that's concerned, yes, the technology is not saturated. We will be seeing more things coming out this year. People are just like, oh, doom and gloom. They came out with the Robomaster. Oh, we're not going to see, there's no drones this year. Oh, woe is me. Woe is me. Drone DJ says, we're not going to have any. It's going to be a droneless summer. And, is it going to be a droneless 2019? Some other people are talking about this. And I said, guys, you know what? It's June. Okay. I said, we have 6 months left. I see people are posting, what today, it's like 6 months to Christmas Eve. Okay. It's 6 months, guys, till December. We have 6 months left of this year. And I think if you've heard some other people, and I think, when I had Romeo on, he said, be watching. He said, there's a lot of good coming out this year, and there's going to be still more good. Okay. The Robomaster is a fantastic educational tool. I watched Rick Smith's video. He put it together with his son. They had a blast. The Osmo Action, I can't say enough about that. I'm thrilled to pieces because tomorrow, finally getting some accessories. They got accessories in. I got the battery charger and 2 batteries with that, and I got a selfie stick by PGY Tech. And I saw Aldrin, and thank you, Aldrin, if you're watching. He did a great review on this. It's a selfie stick, but it's also acts as a tripod. It's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting those. I'm going to be taking them up north with me when grandbaby is born. So I'm going to be having a blast with that. So I've been on my soapbox here. I want to thank everybody for participating in the chat, and I want to let you guys know, I don't take any of you for granted. Okay. Steve Carpenter, you do yeoman's work. You're here most of the time. You're a fantastic moderator. Thank you so much for that. Everybody who shows up week in and week out that I see an awful lot. I know Mike Roach does. Peter DeMastri, Cardasso is here. Edwin is here. Chris Hope is here. I saw, Mitch is here. A lot of you guys have been here on a weekly basis, and I really want to thank you for that. That means a lot to me. Some things I want to mention before we close. I'll turn it over to Ron and then Marcus for their closings, and then I'll have a closing. Some things I want to mention. Steve had posted a couple times in the chat, Spin Up 2019. When that clock ticks midnight on the end of this month, on June 30th, that price is going up. So you want to try to get your tickets before that price goes up. The same thing with Fluidity Technologies. If you're interested in ordering that joystick, do that before July 1st comes around, because that price is going to go up on that. Be sure next week, Tuesday night, Rotor Talk Live, a very special edition. We're going to have Scott Parazinski on. Curtis is going to be on. We're going to have Ron, of course, Ron and Marcus will be here. We're going to have a fantastic time. And Curtis said and mentioned in the chat, if you guys have any questions about his outer space experience when he was an astronaut with NASA, please post those in the chat. We'll be sure to make sure to ask Scott those questions. We're going to have him for the whole hour, and he's very gracious to spend his time to do this. And, it's going to be a fantastic product. I'm excited. I know Curtis has had an opportunity to actually play with it, I believe. And some of his associates have had that as well. So we're just gonna have a great time with that. I'm really looking forward to that. So with all that being said, I'm talking a lot tonight. Okay, I'm tired of hearing myself talk. Ron, what are your closing thoughts? And then Marcus, your closing thoughts, and then I'll wrap things up.
Okay, real quickly, I did want to mention, since Bill kind of badmouthed iOS for a few minutes there. I'm just kidding. I have the iPad Pro here. And Apple just had their announcements. What's the show? They had the developers conference, WWDC, at the beginning of June, and the iPad had the same operating system as the phone did. It was slightly different. You could do more in landscape, but now they have their own operating system, and they made all the available betas available, I think, Monday night. So I have the beta version of the tablet OS. Specifically made just for this, and it adds some more using two different apps at the same time. But now it has a real file system in it, so you could plug like a thumb drive into it, and you have a real file system where you can move stuff back and forth before, which you never had in the mobile operating system before. So this gets more and more like a personal computer at this point. So I'm going to be doing, fully testing out. I'm going to do some reviews and thoughts of it as I learn more about it. But it seems very, exciting, especially for people that are trying to do more and more. And with an app like Keep Up and LumaFusion, I get no money for this. With LumaFusion on a device, has more features, especially onloading and offloading files. That could make, this a real good mobile video editing platform or whatever. And maybe Android already has all this, so I'm not down on Android at all. And again, I'm going to have a review of this coming up. I'm going to have more reviews of this coming up. And we're talking about Spin Up. The three of us are all going to try at the same hotel. And here's a suggestion, Bill, or if you're open to this idea. After the event that night, the three of us could maybe do a live show on site at the hotel.
I absolutely like that.
Right after the event, like a live wrap up. And I don't know if we could somehow, with pictures we've taken with our phone and video, if somehow we can incorporate that into the thing too. I mean, not a whole bunch, but just, a couple good photos here and there, whatever, into the live show. But we'll definitely have a sit down. Maybe we could even do it in a lounge and have other people, like possibly friends of the channel, like Billy Kyle or Ken Dono, stop by and give us their thoughts for a couple minutes.
Absolutely. I love that.
Down, we do like little mini interviews and whatever. Maybe go for an hour or so. So anybody's watching here, that's Saturday. What's the date again, Marcus? Or
October 19th.
19th. That night. I think the event's like 9 to 5 or something like that, right, Bill?
Yeah.
So maybe that night, maybe like 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, before or after dinner at the hotel, we'll try to sit down maybe in a lounge if we have enough internet, do a live broadcast, and maybe we'll just be using phones or whatever, because Marcus discovered Hangouts works real good on the phone too. But we'll try to grab some big name people that are there, do some interviews, do a wrap up right, hours after the event's over. So that's all I really have for the night. We're going to go to Marcus, and I don't know if he was going to put this final thoughts, but I'd like Marcus to touch on a device he's going to be receiving soon, like a joystick device that works with the DJI drones. Maybe he could just do a little primer on that, and maybe Bill hasn't heard about it yet. So Marcus, take it away.
Well, I hate to say it, Ron, but we did talk about it a little bit, because I've already got my FT Aviator Pioneer Pilot tag here that I got in the mail, and Scott Parazinski also signed a card that's in there as well, which is pretty darn cool. So I'm really looking forward to that show next week, and really looking forward. Supposedly, hopefully they've shipped that joystick already, and as soon as I can get that thing in my hands, you can bet I'll be testing it out. And for a fumble thumb person like me, that's going to be a neat device. Now, one of the things I wanted to say, Bill, I'm looking behind you there, and I see something on the shelf there. It's gold in color. It looks like a golden egg or something.
Yeah.
What is that still doing on the shelf? That thing
we need to find. It needs to find a home. It's been talking to me, and it wants to find a new home. So, I'm carefully contemplating who is going to make a great owner of
There's some
the
good
next
names
owner
in
for
the
the Golden
chat.
Egg.
Some of those names in the chat room right now.
Names in the chat room, yeah. And you know who I think really deserves this. Okay, and I watched him, and he does fantastic live streams. He just did a great one recently of a sunset. Mr. Steve Carpenter, I think you should be getting the Golden Egg. What do you guys think?
Bingo, you nailed it.
There you go, Steve. I know I have your address, okay? So there's no escaping the power of the Golden Egg once it comes to you. So be looking for it. I'm excited to get this to you. It has been just it was a absolute blast. That's all I'm going to say. So
you have to add there's an obligation that goes with it.
Oh yeah, Steve, you have to know, you do have to do a review on it. Okay. We do need to see you flying this as well. We know you can fly the Mavic Pro, and if you can fly the Mavic Pro, I know you can fly this, but you want to do this in an open area and have lots of room, and be prepared to do the walk of shame with it as well too. So I know both Marcus and Ron and I have taken that walk many times with the Golden Egg, okay? And the other thing is, don't put this in a pot, Steve, because it will try to get out. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that it will try to escape out of the pot. So, but yeah, this will be, you know what? I'll get this packed up, and I'll get it it'll be on its way to you, Steve. Congratulations. You are the next recipient of the Golden Egg.
And Steve, he will do the firmware upgrade on it before he sends it out.
Do the firmware, yeah. You got to do the firmware upgrade on this too. The challenge may be to find the USB port on here. I think that's the real challenge. But once you find it, you should be able to do the USB. You do the firmware
battery.
Yes. The stellar runtime, the 5 minutes of complete life of the battery of the Golden Egg. So. It's Steve, you'll have a great time with it. I hope we're having a jovial time with it. But I will get that out to you, and it's with the best intentions. And we thank you so much for all of your contributions to all of our channels. Not only myself, but to Ron and Marcus, to ZinoNation, to everybody out there. Thank you for your due diligence in going out to other channels and commenting, for being a part of moderating the chats, for also serving as an admin on several of my groups. I really appreciate you, and I thank you so much for that effort. I know Ron and Marcus would thoroughly agree with me, and others as well. I know Bill Thomas would agree with me as well. You do a fantastic job, Steve. We really appreciate you a lot. And in all sincerity, thank you so much for all you do for the drone community and for the good that you do. There should be a hashtag next to you, Drones for Good, because you really do live that up, Steve. So again, kudos to you, and the golden egg is yours. It will be on its way shortly. So, were you done, Marcus?
Well, a couple more things.
Go for it.
Tell Steve to make sure that golden egg moves on to somebody else after he's done with it. That thing needs to fly on forever. Maybe someday somebody will send it back to Brian Singleton. I don't know.
I like that idea. I absolutely like that idea. Well, here's mine. Okay. I want to thank my co-hosts here, Ron and Marcus. You guys really help make this show. I love your insights. I love your knowledge. I love your experience that you have with the drones that I don't have right now. You know, the Fimi X8, the Anafi, the Zino. You do a fantastic job with your show, ZinoNation, and there's a link in the description. Check it out, please, guys. You know, they do an absolutely fantastic job. And if you didn't watch last night's episode, please go back and watch that. It was great. They do just an absolutely stellar job. So, and do support not only Ron's channel as well. You know, there's a link for it, but Idaho Quadcopters, Marcus's channel, it's in the description. So go check that out. I know it's in there. I put it in there last night. So definitely they do fantastic work with their reviews. Ron, you pick some fantastic music for your videos. I gotta say, Valerie even comments says Ron has great music on his videos. I said, yes, he does.
Credit to Birdman Cruise and whatever. He sent a lot of that music to me.
Well, hey. Birdman Cruise, thank you for that music, because it's just absolutely fantastic. My wife has taken notice of that as well too. So, you know.
But before you sign off, could I say one thing?
Absolutely, go for it, Ron.
Can we send prayers out to Marcus's mother? She has been ill recently. Is there an update, Marcus? Is she doing any better today?
Yeah, no, she's still struggling a little bit, Ron. And thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. We're all concerned.
Well, definitely. Well, please do keep Marcus's mother in your thoughts and prayers. We really do appreciate that. You know, we're all one here as far as a drone community is concerned. And when one of us hurt, all of us hurt. And I think that's important to remember these things like this. So, you know, please do keep that in your thoughts and prayers. Please also do remember my daughter. Her due date is coming up this Saturday. And if I'm correct, if she doesn't have the baby by Friday, they'll induce labor on Saturday. And I know inducing labor, you know, from everything I've heard, it's not pretty. So, you know, I'm saying a prayer that she can have her baby before then, but get a text from my son-in-law's mother that they're on their way to the hospital. So I'm looking forward to that. Also my kids, my two sons and my older son's girlfriend are on their way down. They'll be here at 11 o'clock. Pray for safe travels for them tonight. And we're looking forward to spending some time with them. We haven't seen them in about a year and a half. So I'm kind of anxious. And my son's my son's girlfriend hasn't left him. So evidently he's doing something right. I don't know what it is. And that's not the good looking son. My good looking son's the younger one. So anyway, all that. Okay. But no. Thank you guys for everything that you do, for all your contributions, for your great chats. It was a great chat tonight. I watched the chat. You guys just did absolutely fantastic on that. Thank you so much. Appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody. See you next week.